Hey, what's up everyone? Let's dive into episode number 42 of the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series today, featuring the legendary Coach Carter. Last episode opened up the final season of UT Martin Skyhawk Hoops for Ken Carter, and the start has been a tad tumultuous though. The Skyhawks have a 3-2 record after a heartbreaking defeat against the Memphis Tigers last episode, and now nurse two key injuries in Jacques Diggs and Evan Schneiderman. And this isn't the first time we've seen Diggs have a hand injury. He's had a history of these sorts of instances, and he's sustained another one. However, he will remain active for these next couple days as he nurses that hand injury. But Schneiderman, who's still looking to get going this season as a first-year starter, will be sidelined for the next 2 weeks. And this is a really tough draw. As we all know, UT Martin has been struggling to find themselves as Coach Carter tries his best to balance out the rotation, but with our best player balling through injury and no Schneiderman, an already thin UT Martin team becomes that much thinner as we begin Ohio Valley Conference play on the road against the Austin Peay Governors. APSU may have lost 7 of their first 8, but don't let the record fool you. They could be easily 5-3 right now if they closed out some of these games with 4 losses coming within single digits. The Governors have been very competitive for a long time in the Ohio Valley, and this looks to be another solid squad, highlighted by the emergence of senior forward Brandon Lennox. He averages a double-double and shoots 37% from downtown. The Governors always seem to recruit heavy on athletes who tire out defenses and always seem to find the best shot possible with the ball moving around so quick on their offensive sets. And with so many moving parts for the Skyhawks, let's talk rotation for a moment. No Schneiderman for 2 weeks, so sophomore Dusty Harrison steps in at the winning position. He's had some spot starts this season so far. He's putting up 7 points a game with a 44% mark from 3. And Roshan Martin will see increased playing time as well. Roshan had a rocky start to his Division I career a season ago, but he's been quietly solid through the first 5 games. He's posting similar stat lines to his sophomore campaign, despite playing 5 less minutes this season compared to last. So obviously the percentages are a lot higher, much more efficient, and a subsequent move for Martin's increased role is Brian Gill being knocked down the depth chart a bit. The 3-star recruit from Florida came in with high aspirations, but he's been hard to watch so far as he adjusts to the college game. He's passed the ball well, but he's only made 3 of his first 16 shots for a percentage of 19%. Hopefully he gets it going. We'll need all hands on deck as we begin Ohio Valley Conference play at Austin Peay. So let's jump into it, guys. Well, if Coach Carter wants to hang another OVC championship banner in the rafters, it all starts right here with the quest of our first ever March Madness victory. The OVC title defense begins right now with a road game against Austin Peay as Harris to it. The point guard opens up with a 3-point attempt. He's their best 3-point shooter, 43% on the season, 5 points averaged, and he's also pressuring Darnay Betancourt in the backcourt. Going coast to coast is to it as well, doing it all in the first minute for the Governors. Betancourt has been up and down this season. I feel like his IQ has been in question a couple times as this ball is rotated over to Jacques Diggs, throws up the pump, drives baseline, and through 2 Governor defenders. We'll get on the board. We're going to learn a lot about Jacques Diggs in these next few weeks. The leader on offense, the senior who's up near 20 points a game, nurses that hand injury, and he's really going to have to be the real leader for the first time ever on this team. Up the other way though, Austin Peay continues to shoot from outside. There's Brandon Lennox, the 6'7 senior with a very confident 3-pointer there. 12-7 game as Dusty Harrison catches and fires. Not even 10 seconds off the shot clock on that possession, right in the face of the 6'9" David Clifton. So a very impressive shot there by Dusty Harrison, yet only 10 team points so far for UT Martin. And we're already nearing in on halfway through the first quarter of action. There's Lennox again. 8 points for the senior in the first 8 and some change minutes of the game. So timeout, Coach Carter looking to change up the rotation a little bit. Roshan Martin checks in at the 1. Betancourt moves to the 3 as Brian Gill also comes in at the off-guard position, and he knocks that one down. So we talked a lot about Brian Gill trying to work on that shooting percentage. He's been hard to watch on offense. However, he has passed the ball well, over 2 assists a game so far this season. Now another 3 is knocked down. This is Romar Morrison, the backup freshman point guard. 30-17 game as UT Martin's coming out flat so far against the Peay Governors in their OVC opener. But look at that block shot though. A little goaltending called on Brandon Lennox, but he soars up and, I mean, I know it went off the backboard, but he rejects the 7-2 Cleveland, but hey, at least it's 2 points. You can take anything you can get at this point in the game right now as Diggs starting to step up finally. His first field goal since that layup in the first stages of the game, but here comes McBride, the backup power forward, no good. Blaine Fry forces a stop. That's been a very rare occurrence, finding stops on defense so far to combat this P offense, but Jacques Diggs off the dribble for 2 in a row, cuts it back down to a 10-point game. We're going to be asking a lot of Jacques Diggs through these next couple weeks as we begin OVC play. 37-25 game, Betancourt, pick and pop between Jacques Diggs. He leaves the three-pointer short, and Austin Peay runs in transition. Ramondo McCall will then find Travion Baldwin, who gives it back to UT Martin. Teron Gardner picks up the piece of candy, and Darnay Betancourt goes coast to coast for his first field goal. Not a great first half for him though. 1 made basket and 3 personal fouls for Darnay as we head to the second half of action. Down by a clean 10 points. That three-pointer is left a little bit short. Rebound by Teron Gardner. He's halfway to 10 already. Diggs, beautiful dish inside to Dusty Harrison. Finally a nice pass that doesn't get picked off. We had 18 turnovers in the first half, which resulted in 10 less shots taken as a team compared to P. So ball security has to be stressed going forward. A lot of athletes on this team really making it hard for us to operate on the offensive end, but now we're starting to find some traction. Another nice bounce pass, entry pass into the paint, Blaine Fry for his 3rd field goal and Diggs' 3rd assist simultaneously. So 10:47 left to go as Brian Gill is blindsided by a screen. You can just tell UT Martin coming out very flat-footed and not communicating on defense because Brian Gill, you can see he was not prepared for that screen. You have to call that one out if you're Teron Gardner. Approaching 10 minutes to play in the ball game, down by 14. Blaine Fry now has that one taken away. We're approaching 10 team turnovers as Romar Morrison will go coast to coast. Beautiful outlet pass. I mean, this has just been the story of the entire game. Austin Peay is gifted with a lot of athletic ability and resulting in a lot of easy run-out opportunities. A minute later, now down by 16 with Roshan Martin. He stops and pops off the screen, little short, but Blaine Fry, finally we see him inside doing some dirty work. How often do we see Blaine Fry held without an offensive rebound for an entire half? Well, he was held without one for the entire game up to this point. Now only down by 11 though. We're slowly chipping away as Brian Gill, look at the up and under move. Great find by Darnay Betancourt going backdoor is the freshman Gill. The Florida native will score a nice basket there. He really needs to improve on his field goal percentage moving forward, and finding better shots will be very helpful in that endeavor, as then Darnay Betancourt will record a steal and Gill will throw up a circus shot, no good, but UT Martin will still stay after it on defense. Romar Morrison then tries to find a cutting Baldwin, taken away by Brian Gill. Great hustle getting back, and he will find Teron Gardner, who is approaching a double-double on the ball game. So 56-49, Austin Peay now sweating a little bit. They've had trouble closing out games all season long like we talked about pre-game, so we'll see if that happens today. But when they're playing this crisp on the offensive end, it's a hard bet to make. Look at that dish by Brandon Lennox to do it all forward for the Governors, and Romar Morrison turning some heads, the freshman, with a very veteran move around the rim. 58-52, down by 6 as Harris Tuitt has his pass picked off. Teron Gardner outlet to Diggs, who tickles the twine on the fast break. Down by 4. We're finally starting to force some turnovers. Austin Peay only had 2 at the break as we approach 3 minutes left in the game. Starters come back in. Betancourt at the controls. He wants the ISO against Vondell Pitts. The 6'9" junior can't keep up with Betancourt. With those long strides, anybody has a hard time keeping up with Betancourt when he has a lane. Nicely done there by the junior, the Oklahoma transfer. Now only down by a single basket. I can't believe UT Martin has played this poorly all game and still has found a way to compete down the home stretch. 2:30 left to go after forcing a stop. Here comes Dusty Harrison, who leaves the game-tying attempt a little bit short. Travion Baldwin in transition, and Darnay Betancourt hits him on the three-point attempt. Once again, Betancourt's offensive and defensive IQ really comes into question. You can't foul a three-point shooter there, as of course we see Brandon Lennox knocked down all 3 free throws, so 2 minutes left to go. The lead swells back to 5 as Diggs will set up this set. Gardner, cross court. Betancourt is open, no hand in the face until it's too late. Betancourt up to 9 points. He gets those 3 points right back. He's got skill, there's no doubt about it, but his IQ sometimes needs to really improve with his decision making. So 1:45 left to go in a big game to open up conference play. Brandon Lennox wants the ISO and he dribbles off his own foot. Betancourt with steal number 2, going coast to coast again. UT Martin dialing up the pace of play here in the second half. As Betancourt actually leads the team in steals per game, he's top 10 in the conference at 1.7 takeaways a game. 61-61 with the game-tying dunk delivered by Betancourt. As Harris to it, he's been good all game from beyond the arc. And he delivers with three-pointer number 3. Nicely done there by Harris to it. Very impressive, the point guard today in this game. So we're approaching 60 seconds to go. Jacques Diggs to Teron Gardner from 17 feet out. And the blue-collar post expands his range a little bit to knock down his 3rd field goal of the game, making half of his shots. Diggs, nice bounce pass. So we're back down by 1. Inside as Blaine Fry forces another stop within the painted area. 47 seconds left to go. We'll dwindle the half down to 32 with 15 seconds left as Jacques Diggs. He finds a lane. Austin Peay forgets about him, but the help side comes. Maybe he should have taken that layup. 7 seconds left. Betancourt and Blaine Fry are going to have to improvise here. 3 seconds. It's tipped away. Blaine Fry gets it back. Betancourt for the lead. That's not a good shot to take at this stage in the game. 12 seconds left. UT Martin's going to have to hurry up and foul. And with 11 seconds left, UT Martin's still a couple fouls away from being in the penalty. I don't know why Jacques Diggs didn't take that lane. Maybe he was so surprised that he was that open, but we're going to have to play some defense here and get a stop. To it, over to Lennox, who will actually shoot the 3, and he knocks it through. How often do you see this? Austin Peay could have taken the free throws, but instead Lennox, cold-blooded and confident, will take that 3 off the catch and forces Austin Peay to go up 2 possessions instead of it being a 3-point game with 2 made free throws at the line. I've almost never seen anything like that before. Brandon Lennox with one of the most cold-blooded shots I have ever seen, and we drop the conference opener by 4 points. That's a tough loss for sure. But at the end of the day, I really don't think we deserve to win this one. Way too many team turnovers and missed out on a lot of opportunities. Jacques Diggs with 14 and 4. Good game from him. I wish we got him the ball more. Only 8 shot attempts in a game where he's still fighting through that hand injury, but it didn't look like he missed a beat at all. Blaine Fry got it going in the second half, almost a double-double. He's already had 2 of those this season. And Austin Peay had 4 players in double figures. So we'll head back to simulating. We improve back to 1-on-1 in conference play as we take down Tennessee State by 22 points. Looks like we unloaded a little bit, you could say. Some of the frustration from that Austin Peay game. We put it together for an 83-point outing as a team. All starters in double figures except for Betancourt, who still had a good defensive day. And Rashawn Martin, 3-3, and Brian Gill with probably his best performance as a college player with 5-3 in that one. We also get a week off to rest a little bit. Jacques Diggs finally got healthy, and in his return to full health, 27 points, flirted with a career high. And also Darnay Betancourt with a solid game with 6 assists, 8 points, and Teron Gardner had 11. And then in the next outing, we make it 3 in a row as Jacques Diggs sets a new career high with 34 points and a new career high in 3-pointers made in a game, 7 of 9. And then in the middle of our OVC slate, this was our last non-conference game against a top 10 opponent in Oregon. Didn't really hang with them too well. And then an overtime win against Jacksonville State, who looks to be one of the weaker teams in the conference. So we're still shaking off the cobwebs, still trying to find the best rotation, and also not having Evan Schneiderman, a big rotation piece, isn't helping. You're starting to see some of these teams hang more with UT Martin than, say, compared to last season. Nonetheless, we'll head back on the road for a pretty big game against Eastern Kentucky, as they've started out this season a little under expectations. They're 2-3 within the conference thus far, and they're going to be missing their top player, one of the best overall talents in the conference, 7-footer Aaron Dooley, who averages 20 and 6.5 rebounds a game. So let's see if UT Martin can come back and really deliver a solid performance against a team who's a little underhanded, and even better news, Evan Schneiderman is actually cleared to return this game. So this EKU game on the road is the first time we're seeing UT Martin at full strength through this entire season thus far. We begin the game very well. Jacques with a three-pointer made only a couple seconds into the game, as then Betancourt snatches a steal and delivers a beautiful entry pass on the backdoor feed. He's assisted on all 3 shots made by UT Martin thus far. 16-9 game. We're going to zoom through this one a little bit. 10:40 left to go in the first half of action. How about Betancourt finding some real estate on the right flank? His second three-pointer made already this game. As we are about halfway through the first half, 8-point advantage for UT Martin, as even Roshan Martin wants to get in on the fun from three-point land. Not much of a three-point shooter, but he's putting together a very solid junior campaign. 36-25. How about we ramp up the three-pointers made even further? Brian Gill throws up the pump. He navigates to the top of the key. That's a shot that reminds me a lot of the previous point guard for UT Martin. I'm sure you guys remember Dwight Easley from seasons 1 and 4 as our point guard. That's a shot he would have hit, as Blaine Fry then sends back the center Matthew Guyton trying to fill in for Aaron Dooley. As you can see here, I mean, EKU still struggling to find any offensive identity. That's 20 points per game taken off the board as Jacques finishes the run out. He's already up to 13 points, a baker's dozen for the senior from San Antonio, Texas. As now in the game we see Brian Gill recording assist number 4. This one goes to Jacques in the corner. 16 first half points. It's a pretty crazy thought to think that Jacques could break his career high for the second time in under a week, but we'll dwindle the half down to 4 seconds left. Betancourt with the ISO opportunity. That one's easy for him, as UT Martin eclipses 50 points in the first half, and Betancourt have about 13 points for number 13 up to this point. So first possession of the second half now for UT Martin, trying to coast to this victory, as Jacques will then bounce past this one to Dusty Harrison. He gets the bounce. Why not? With how things have been going today. His first tray ball of the game, and UT Martin had 9 made three-pointers as a team in the first half. That one reaches double digits, 10 as a team up to this point. 57-41, a cross screen for Harrison. He'll give it to Diggs, who enters the post down low. Blaine Fry, let's show him some love. With all the threes made, don't forget about Blaine Fry. That's Josh Marshall trying to cover him. No Aaron Dooley means not much protection down low. Fry up to double digits as well, and Teron Gardner makes a beautiful pass outside to Schneiderman. No good in his return to action. He's still coming off the bench, but Betancourt, though, he will not mess up this second chance opportunity, as Betancourt is really enjoying the breakout game we've all been dying to see from him. He's up to 16 points, making all 4 of his three-point opportunities, 71-47. We're getting into the twilight of the ball game. It looks to be a very emphatic win for UT Martin, really starting to turn the tides of their conference slate, as Blaine Fry is met with a double team. Looking cross court, Schneiderman wants the 3. Just kidding, he'll take it all the way, putting the ball on the deck. Get those puppies in order, as Bill Rafferty would say. Evan Schneiderman, man, he had a really good ending to this game, and I feel like that opened up some things further on in the simulating, as you guys will see. Schneiderman really had a good stretch of games coming back from injury, and I feel like the final couple minutes for this game really opened up the door for him to have that solid turnaround. So Dominic Cleveland helps us reach 86 points as a 7-2 backup center. He will record his first basket, and everybody who checked in for a substantial amount of time managed to get their name in the box score under the point tally. 86-57 is your final, a 29-point victory. Everybody enjoyed themselves this game. 16 for Betancourt, 22 for Diggs. He kind of let off the gas pedal in the second half a little bit. Teron Gardner, 12, 8, and 4, and Blaine Fry again reaches double digits. I've been very pleasantly surprised in Teron Gardner. Had some worries about him finally having the first starting role of his career, but he's averaging above 13 points so far this season. He's been a great 1-2 combo between him and Jacques And Brian Gill with 7 points and 5 assists and only 9 minutes played. How about that efficiency? Brian Gill, this was definitely his best outing of his college career. He's really been turning it around. So back to simulating we go. Eastern Illinois, who looks to be a very competitive team this year within the conference for the first time in, I believe, this entire series. They haven't been very good thus far. They hang with us the entire way through back at home, but we pull away 72-61. 13-6 for Gardner, as him and Evan Schneiderman, who reached 14 points. That's a new season high for him, not career high, but season high. He also chipped in with 5 rebounds, and he really saved us down the stretch whenever Darnay Betancourt got into foul trouble in that game. So then we move on to Murray State as well. The Racers, they held with us, and all of a sudden it seemed like we ran out of gas. So a very tough loss here to our conference rivals, the Murray State Racers. Devin Alati has been turning heads. The underclassmen put up 15 and 17 this game, and he almost completely blanked Blaine Fry. 4 and 6 for the senior Fry, and Darnay Betancourt also was withheld without a single basket, and he fouled out pretty quickly too. However, Evan Schneiderman was one of the few shining moments in the entire game. So with Morehead State looming closer, we're actually going to give Evan Schneiderman the start in one of the biggest games of this entire season. We're going to reach the halfway point of the entire schedule today, and whoever wins this game between us and Morehead State will take potentially the #1 seed for the time being in the conference. We're both sitting at 6-2, along with Austin Peay, and the Governors also play Murray State the same day that we play Morehead State. So depending on what happens with the Governors against the Racers, if they lose, then if we beat Morehead State, we could take the temporary bragging rights as the #1 team in the Ohio Valley Conference. So a lot on the line today. Morehead State, you guys should know them at this point. A lot of three-point shooters year in and year out on this roster, filled with athletes and guys who can crash the glass at a high level. Not as good as they were last year maybe, but still a very competitive ball club with a lot of cohesion on this lineup. And we're also going to see 2 of the top offenses in the Ohio Valley, both teams over 70 points per game a night. Schneiderman, as you see there, returns to the starting lineup, and he's really earned the starting gig once again. He's put up 24 points in his last 2 games within the simulating period, so it's great to have him back. Morehead State's also one of the taller teams in the conference at the wing position, so we're going to need some extra heights at that position. So starting out the game, we see Evan Schneiderman wasting no time getting back on the score sheets. Betancourt met with a double team, and he made the right decision there. Can't complain about his IQ, as UT Martin will begin the game with 7 unanswered points in the biggest game of the season up to this point. Derek Godin now the point guard for Morehead State. Nice dish inside to DJ De La Cruz. TJ, man, he's really become a very solid player, as he actually leads the team in not only points but blocks as well. The 6'7" junior averages 12.5 points, 1.5 blocks, becoming a very good two-way player. So he gets them on the board. Assisting there was Derek Godin, who actually leads the conference in assists per game, as Jacques glides the baseline to get his way onto the stat sheet as well. 12-6, as we've doubled Morehead's output through the first 5 minutes of the contest. Jacques, he'll feed it high post. Blaine Fry out to the corner. Schneiderman, there we go. Blaine Fry has to make great passes today. Morehead State's a team that almost exclusively plays zone defense. And of course, Teron Garner and Blaine Fry both have a lot of ability to share the rock. But there is Kyron Childs, another very solid player for Morehead State, averaging just under 9 points and 6.5 rebounds. He leads the team in that category. But outside of the mid-range jump shot, that's really been most of Morehead State's offensive production thus far. They really haven't mustered much else. Only 12 points at this point, as Brian Gill then gets on the board. Nice ball reversal by Harrison, Blaine Fry and company. So we're up by 10 now, with 5:30 left to go. Morehead State continuing to struggle. This right here was a beautiful pass by TJ De La Cruz, but Dimitri Dandridge, the freshman center, cannot knock it down, man. Both teams, really, UT Martin too, they're starting to struggle on offense as well. These are 2 of the top offenses in the conference, and they're both starting to hit a brick wall. That one's rejected by TJ De La Cruz. Very impressed with that play, as De La Cruz sat behind a couple very good centers like Justin Slater and other guys from Morehead State. They've had a history of good big men, but now as a junior, he steps in as a starting center, and he's really making good on those opportunities. As there's a nice pass by Eric Figueroa, who's also tied with TJ De La Cruz as the top scoring leader on the team, delivers a nice pass inside to Raynell Carlson, who knocks down the three-point play. So finally some offensive showing of any sort, as this one's missed by Dusty Harrison, but Dom Cleveland, he always seems to be good for a rebound and putback, at least one a game, so that'll get us back trending in the right direction. 24-16 game now, 3:22 left to go. Betancourt checks back in, starting five on the floor with the exception of Cleveland and Dusty Harrison. Nice job off of Cleveland's pick to find some real estate. Betancourt, very solid play there, but only shooting 1 for 3 thus far as we head into the second half. 28-20, both teams under 40% shooting as a club. I don't think anybody really expected this game to be a defensive grinded out matchup with two of the top offenses going to battle, but maybe Diggs can help us trend in the right direction. Diggs with 11, 3 for 5 from deep, and pushes the lead to 11 as well with one flick of the wrist. 13 minutes left to play. Good ball reversal trying to combat this 2-3 zone. Diggs left unattended, but he makes the extra pass inside to Blaine Fry for points 3 and 4. Very risky pass. Probably not how they drew it up, but when you got a player like Diggs and the skill level he's out, sometimes you just got to let him do his own thing. 11:44 left to go. Carlson from mid-range starting to really waver, as Raynell Carlson had 6 bench points in only 7 minutes in the first half to be one of the better offensive players for Morehead State, but now even he's having trouble. Meanwhile, Teron Gardner cleans up the mess by Betancourt and puts in a 3-point play. Gardner has been really impressive thus far. He's second on the team in scoring, 13.5 points per game to go along with his 8 rebounds and nights, pushing the lead back up to 14 as now De La Cruz is a little short from 3. Betancourt collects rebound number 3 and looks to set things up, going back door to Jacques Diggs. That's not the find you want to try to attempt there. And then Betancourt with another boneheaded play. The IQ comes into question again. Whenever you're that far behind a good offensive player like Figueroa on the fast break, you just have to let him go. You cannot allow a 3-point play right there. 40-30 game, still not many points from either side. It's still a grinded out game as we dwindle the clock down to 8 minutes to go, but Brian Gill with a nice layup there, and then we hold firm inside. Evan Schneiderman and Teron Gardner tag team the driver there on Morehead State to force another miss. As we're under 8 minutes to go, Teron Gardner makes another mid-range jump shot. Okay, maybe he's trying to make this more of a common occurrence. He hit one in the Austin Peay game as well. UT Martin's already a team that averages 72 points per game, but if Teron Gardner can step out and hit 20-footers, that would make us even more dynamic, as then Gardner finds Gill, gives it to him, and lets him clear out nearing the end of the shot clock. Everybody playing well this game, as Brian Gill is starting to finally bounce back from that nightmare of a start he had to his college career. And that 3-point play really set the tempo here for the last couple minutes. Morehead State continues to look like they never even got off the team bus as UT Martin starts to hit their stride near the end of the ball game. Jacques Diggs with the dagger here late in the matchup. 55-34. Will this be another 20-plus point victory for UT Martin? It's starting to look that way. Schneiderman with rebound number 5 at that wing position. 4 minutes to go, things looking very bleak. It's a difficult situation for Morehead State, but they continue to not close out on shooters as they let Evan Schneiderman go all the way, throws up the pump and drives right past the closing defender on Morehead State. Schneiderman perfect from the field in this game. As John Foreman then has his pocket picked by Schneiderman. He's making plays. Up ahead to Darnay Betancourt. This crowd is rocking as UT Martin pulls away. And it's great to be back in a venue with some fans. Against EKU and Murray State, they were pretty quiet gyms, but this place is going bananas tonight. As you guys know, UT Martin, a very loyal following. And look at Evan Schneiderman. He's throwing his hands up to Betancourt like, come on, man. I thought you were going to do something more fancy than that. We got to celebrate in the right way. Maybe Betancourt's throwing down some nasty jams in practice or something, and I guess Schneiderman wanted to see more flair, but nonetheless, a 70-44 victory. Things becoming way too easy for Tennessee Martin. It looks like all the questions that we had coming into this episode have been answered. I mean, Tennessee Martin, they're on a hot streak right now with another dominating victory against one of the better teams throughout the entire Ohio Valley. I mean, this is a statement win if I've ever seen one. Eric Figueroa, 18 points, but he was really the only sustainable source of offense from Morehead State. So let's also check on Austin Peay and see how they did against Murray State. They played the Racers the same day we did, and they ended up winning that game pretty handily, so they still stay at the top of the Ohio Valley for the time being. We're both 7-2 in the conference, but they hold a tiebreaker. Obviously, they beat us by 4 earlier on this episode, so we're currently second in the conference as Austin Peay holds the tiebreaker. We play them one more time. That's actually the final game on our regular season schedule. We go head-to-head back at home against the Governors, so that could be a very meaningful game depending how the season shapes up. But speaking of our schedule, as we end the episode, I want to discuss this a little bit. I wanted to go through this final season of Coach Carter very quickly. I talked about that before the season started, and I feel like we have 11 games on the schedule, so what I'm probably going to do is play 3 out of those last 11 and do a lot more simulating in the next episode when you see me next. So that's how I'm going to end the season, and hey, who knows, maybe we caught Morehead State on a bad night. I mean, that happens to some teams that got one of the better offenses in the entire Ohio Valley, but taking a look at some of these stats, I mean, things look great for UT Martin. Blaine Fry flirting with a double-double on the season. Teron Gardner easily with his best ever season as a UT Martin Skyhawk. Darnay Betancourt has really looked like a star in some games, and Brian Gill's becoming a very serviceable member of our rotation after his sluggish start. And how about Jacques Diggs? He's really been the creme de la creme of leaders through all this adversity and all the scoring and leadership he's displayed through all this turmoil. I mean, it's been so incredible to watch. He's up second in the conference in points per game, along with being top 10 in assists per game. If there was ever a time that a UT Martin Skyhawk was going to win Player of the Year, I feel like with this campaign that Diggs is putting together, shooting 47% from 3, I feel like this will be the season for a Skyhawk to win Player of the Year in the OVC. So we did a lot this episode, really turned things around and gave us a good landscape to work and build off of, really turning things around. We got a full healthy lineup and we look dominant when we're at full strength. So when you see me next, we'll be simming and playing these last 11 games of the season to find out where we'll be playing, what seeding we're going to have in our final Ohio Valley Conference tournament. So stay tuned for that here with Coach Carter and myself on the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series.